Do you know when International Human Rights Day is?
Not exactly.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Not sure.
Honestly, I don't know.
Actually, I have no idea.
Do you know?
Sorry, I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh my god. I'm not aware about that. Sorry.
Okay, it's 10th of December. On 10th December 1948, the General Assembly of United Nations has announced the Declaration of Human Rights, which is 13 rights for all of us. But after 7 decades, do we have all these rights? Are we free? Can you tell me 5 basic rights according to the Declaration of Human Rights?
5, I think, right to water, right to housing, right to sanitation, right to education.
Right?
I want to say something like right to human dignity, if that's maybe one of them. But
It's including at the end, it's all in including.
yeah.
I'm not sure, but I'm gonna guess like freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of life, and free from fear.
I'm not sure. I only recognize 2. Religion, I think it's freedom of speech and can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Well, at least you have the freedom of speech. You are free to walk. You are free to eat. You don't need to be afraid of anything when you speak. Wow. You are free to do anything. You are legal to do, right?
Freedom of speech, right of privacy. Sorry, I don't get something in my mind, so I can't really.
Free to say what they want. Yeah.
In my own opinion about the international rights, is about the women's rights. It needs some free educations for everyone.
Okay, that's something about the freedom of speech, freedom of
Yes.
press, and what else?
Freedom of education.
Something about religion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Religion, yes.
Freedom of marriage.
Marriage, family.
Yeah.
Yes, we got 5.
What are human rights? Human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other status. Human rights include the right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom from opinion and expression, the right to work and education, and many more. Everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination.
Why do you think human rights is more important to you? And you live in Hong Kong, like which is so many things happens in the past year. So what do you really need at the moment?
I think human right is just a universal value. So I don't think that it should have a reason or assumption behind it. So everyone is born with it, and I think any power should be over human rights. So I think Hong Kong now we can see that the freedom I just mentioned is not really upholding. So after the national security law is implemented here, people are censoring themselves about what to say, even between friends. So I think this just reflects that we are losing some very core value now.
At the moment, there's a lot of things happening all around the world.
Yes.
And what is human rights to you? And why do you think it's so important?
I think human rights are so important because they're fundamental. I think they're something that everyone needs. And I think just they need to be accessible. And we need to kind of work towards making sure that everyone has their human rights intact.
As a person who is living in Hong Kong
Yes.
at the moment, what do you think? What is the most important right to you?
Most important rights. I would say in the context of Hong Kong, the right to affordable housing. I think that's a problem in Hong Kong.
All right.
If you have your human right to speak what you want to speak and what you want to do.
I think if we have human rights and we can ensure our life is safe and what we want to do, just like she said, what we like to speak, especially in this few years. And I think, just like you asked me, and maybe I cannot recognize those 4 human rights, but in this few years, I think freedom of speech is more important in this field.
All right.
Because we will worry about what we think and what we talk about. Maybe there are some dangers, and maybe we'll be determined as guilty or yes.
I think it's about people can do freely what they want as long as it's not against the law. I think the newspaper and all the magazines and also the public TVs, they kind of shift to a side. They do have bias right now, which is a little bit different from like 10 years ago. So I think for now in Hong Kong, freedom of speech is very important.
I think well, there is a rule for each country that is hard to say. Well, the one who governs the human rights. So I am hard to say or to comment on it. But well, each country has different rules, so I can't comment on it all the day and all the times. As well, the right to speak and the right or the freedom of speech is very important, right?
Right.
So that is the main thing I want to express.
What is the most important rights for you yourself, if I ask?
I guess it's the freedom of speech. I guess speech is very important.
I'm from Philippines and I prefer to work here in Hong Kong because I think the job here is far much better because just like us, we're helpers, but I think we have the rights. They have the rights.
Yeah, equality, because I'm not saying all, but there is some point that we've been discriminated by others, and sometimes they think that because of our job is really, we're doing households, and yeah, we are helpers, but sometimes we feel like belittled by others. But I'm not saying everyone, just some people. Yeah, just equality, I guess.
Human rights, I think for me it's about everyone is born to be equal, and everyone should be under the same legal system so that we can have share the same right. We can have different functionality in our society, but yeah, we should be treated equally. So it is important because we cannot choose where are we born, and we cannot choose our environment. So although we have different social status, but we should be treated equally. Freedom of speech in Hong Kong is so natural, so normal, but these days we feel like it is not. Like we have to think whether it is appropriate to say something. And like for example, when I do this video, I would think like, when it is published, what will be the impact for me? Before that, it would not be that strong, but now it is a little bit stronger.
Human rights give people the freedom to choose how they live, how they express themselves, and what kind of government they want to support, among many other things. In this video, I'll try to show the importance of human rights and what Hong Kong people think about it and what they really want with their basic rights. I think we need to know more about our rights, because if any of us are not safe, then no one is safe. So guys, in this year Human Rights Day theme related to COVID-19 pandemic and focus on need of recovery efforts. So 10th December is an opportunity for us to remind the importance of human rights in rebuilding the world that we want. So let's support each other and protect each other's right to make our world better. So guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.